Imagine London in the 1660s, a city that was a melting pot of cultures, ideas and commerce. It was a vibrant city alive with the sounds of daily life. The air was filled with the chatter of people, the clinking of coins and the calls of street vendors. The streets were a hive of activity. Merchants hawked their wares, offering everything from exotic spices to handmade goods. Carriages clattered over cobblestones, transporting the city's elite and common folk alike. The River Thames, a bustling artery, flowed through it all. It was the lifeblood of the city, with boats and ships constantly moving goods and people. This was a city teeming with life, unaware of the impending disaster. The marketplaces were crowded, filled with the scents of fresh produce and the sounds of haggling, a city on the brink of profound change. The skyline was dominated by wooden structures, a testament to the city's rapid growth and development. The heart of London was its wooden buildings. These structures, though charming and practical, were a ticking time bomb. Timber-framed houses lined the narrow streets, creating a picturesque yet perilous environment. The close proximity of these buildings made the city vulnerable. Shops and workshops, all constructed from wood, stood side by side. These were the places where people worked, lived and thrived, unaware of the danger that loomed. This reliance on timber, while practical, would prove to be the city's undoing. The very material that built the city would soon threaten to destroy it. For within this bustling heart, danger lurked. The city's vibrancy and energy masked the underlying risk. A tiny spark was all it would take. In a city built of wood, fire was an ever-present threat, waiting for the smallest opportunity to ignite. The night of September 2nd, 1666. The city of London was shrouded in darkness, its narrow streets silent and still. The air was thick with the scent of wood and smoke, a common aroma in a city where open flames were a part of daily life. The bakery of Thomas Fariner in Pudding Lane, a modest establishment yet vital to the community, providing bread and baked goods to the local residents. It was here in the heart of London that the Great Fire began. Pudding Lane, a narrow street lined with timber-framed houses, was about to become infamous. A small fire, perhaps from an unextinguished oven, erupted. The embers, left smouldering, found new life in the dry, wooden interior of the bakery. Flames quickly licked their way up the wooden stairs. The dry timber provided ample fuel, and the fire began to grow with alarming speed. The bakery, filled with combustible materials, was quickly engulfed. Flour dust, wooden beams and other flammable items fed the hungry flames. The fire spread rapidly, consuming everything in its path. Neighbouring houses, also made of wood, were easy prey. The fire leapt from rooftop to rooftop, spreading with a ferocity that was both terrifying and unstoppable. Soon a whole block was ablaze. The fire showed no signs of slowing down, its appetite for destruction insatiable. The fire, fueled by a dry summer and a strong east wind, became an inferno. The wind carried sparks and embers to new locations, igniting fresh blazes and spreading the destruction even further. It raged through the night, casting an eerie glow over the city. The once dark and quiet streets were now illuminated by the hellish light of the flames, turning night into day. The Great Fire of London had begun, a disaster that would change the city forever, leaving a lasting mark on its history and its people. The fire spread with terrifying speed. Fanned by the wind, it jumped from building to building. The narrow, winding streets acted like chimneys, funneling the flames ever higher. Sparks and burning debris rained down on the city. Panic gripped the inhabitants as they realized the true scale of the disaster. Efforts to fight the fire were initially disorganized. Leather buckets passed from hand to hand proved woefully inadequate. The city's fire engines, primitive by today's standards, could not cope with the inferno. By morning, the fire had consumed a vast swathe of London, and it showed no signs of abating. Panic gripped the city. People fled their homes, carrying what possessions they could. The streets became choked with refugees. Mothers clutched their children. Men struggled with bundles of belongings. All were fleeing for their lives. The air was thick with smoke and the screams of the terrified. The River Thames offered a perilous escape route. Thousands crammed onto boats, desperate to reach the safety of the opposite bank. Others sought refuge in London's open spaces, such as Moorfields and Finsbury Fields. The fire raged on, turning day into night, casting a long shadow over the fleeing masses. Section 5. A city in ashes landmarks lost. The fire raged for 3 days and nights. It consumed everything in its path. Homes, shops, warehouses, all were reduced to smouldering rubble. The Guildhall, a symbol of civic pride, was gutted. Even St. Paul's Cathedral, with its towering spire, could not withstand the inferno. The firestorm created its own weather. A towering column of smoke rose thousands of feet into the air. Hot embers, carried by the wind, started new fires far beyond the main blaze. The heat was so intense that it melted metal and cracked stone. The destruction was absolute. Section 6. Desperate measures, the King's intervention. King Charles II, witnessing the devastation, took personal charge. He ordered the creation of fire breaks. Buildings in the path of the fire were to be demolished. It was a desperate measure, but it was the only hope of halting the inferno's advance. The King's men, aided by soldiers and desperate citizens, used gunpowder to speed up the demolitions. It was dangerous and exhausting work, but slowly, painstakingly, they began to make headway. The fire breaks, starved of fuel, began to have an effect. Section 7. A united front, battling the blaze. The fight against the fire was a united effort. Rich and poor, soldier and civilian, all worked tirelessly to combat the inferno. They formed human chains, passing buckets of water from hand to hand. They risked their lives to save others, pulling people from burning buildings. Many acts of heroism went unrecorded. Ordinary Londoners, showing extraordinary courage, faced the inferno head-on. They fought the fire with whatever tools they could find. Their efforts, though seemingly insignificant against the scale of the disaster, helped to save lives and protect what little remained. Section 8. Smouldering ruins, the fire subsides. Finally, on September 5th, the wind dropped. The fire, starved of oxygen and contained by the fire breaks, began to subside. Exhausted firefighters, their faces blackened with soot, watched as the flames died down. The Great Fire of London was over. The city lay in ruins. Over 13,000 houses were destroyed. 87 churches lay in ashes. The homes and livelihoods of 70,000 people were gone. The scale of the destruction was almost unimaginable. Yet amidst the ruins, the spirit of London endured. Section 9. Rising from ashes, Wren's vision for a new London. The rebuilding began almost immediately. From the ashes of the old city, a new London would rise. Sir Christopher Wren, a brilliant architect, was tasked with redesigning the city. His vision was for a modern, fire-resistant London. Wren's plans called for wider streets and buildings made of brick and stone. He envisaged grand avenues and spacious squares. His masterpiece, St. Paul's Cathedral, would become a symbol of London's resilience. The rebuilding would take decades, but from the ashes, a new city was born. Section 10. Echoes of the fire, London's enduring spirit. Today, echoes of the Great Fire still resonate in London. The city, with its rich history and vibrant present, stands as a living testament to resilience and rebirth. The fire that once ravaged the city left an indelible mark, but it also paved the way for a new era of architectural brilliance and urban planning. The city's layout, with its wider streets and fire-resistant buildings, is a testament to Wren's vision. Sir Christopher Wren, the mastermind behind the reconstruction, envisioned a city that could withstand future calamities. His designs incorporated wider streets to prevent the rapid spread of fire and buildings constructed with materials less prone to burning. The monument, a towering column, marks the spot where the fire began. Standing 202 feet tall, it serves as a poignant reminder of the devastation and the subsequent rebirth. Tourists and locals alike visit this iconic structure, reflecting on the city's ability to rise from the ashes. The Great Fire was a tragedy, but it also revealed the resilience of the human spirit. The people of London, faced with immense loss, came together to rebuild their city. Their collective effort and determination laid the foundation for the modern metropolis we see today. From the ashes of destruction, London emerged stronger and more vibrant. The Reconstruction period saw the birth of innovative architectural designs and urban planning that would influence cities around the world. The blend of old and new in London's skyline is a testament to its enduring spirit. The fire tested the city's limits, but it also forged a new spirit of innovation and determination. Artifacts from that era, preserved in museums, tell the story of a city that refused to be defeated. The innovative designs that followed set new standards in architecture and urban development. It is a reminder that even in the face of disaster, hope and renewal can emerge. As the sun rises over London, it illuminates a city that has weathered countless storms and continues to thrive. The enduring spirit of London is a beacon of hope, showing that from the depths of despair, a brighter future can always be built.